And let's begin by telling you that President Bola Tinubu and the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, Nyesom Wike, on Tuesday held a closed-door meeting with a delegation of Ogoni leaders led by Governor Siminalayi Fubara of Rivers State. Also present at the meeting was the Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbajabiamila, the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Rubadu, and the Group Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, Mele Kyari, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, and other ministers and aides. The meeting came after a coalition of civil society organizations demanded an allocation of $1 trillion, from the federal government for the cleanup of the Niger Delta and compensation for lost livelihoods before the resumption of crude oil production in Ogoni land. Still in the Niger Delta, for nearly 2 weeks now, residents of Bukuma in Dengema local government area of Rivers State have been daily deserting their community following an explosion that resulted in a fire in OML 18 belonging to the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited. The townspeople are citing grave health concerns as the pollution spreads from the creek to the neighboring Kalabari communities, disrupting fishing and farming activities in the area.
Since this oil explodes here, even you can look the palm tree, the fruit, everything damaged, burn finish. Women go fishing, nothing. Men go fishing, nothing we catch. This is my palo, this is my canoeman, nothing we catch. Ordinary hand now with the carry come now, and nothing we go feed do now to eat. Please, may I tell the federal government to come and help us because we are dying.
When the spill occurred on the 18th of December, till the operators, we were told, came with a barge and a crane and wanted to do some further operations to contain it, that day, the 12th, there was an explosion. From that 12th of January up until this moment, you're still seeing the fire burning in full blast and escalated into the bushes. Cut farmlands, vegetations, residential homes, wildlife, the entire ecology and the ecosystem was charged with flame.
An inspection was carried out by NNPC, and it was discovered that there was a leakage from 1st of December, and it wasn't taken care of. We were told just before the fire explosion, don't turn your gas, you can't cook, you can't strike a match because the entire atmosphere is charged and any spark could just raise fire. So our source of livelihood through farming and fishing is all gone. 90% of the people in the community have evacuated themselves to safety.
As a result of this fire outbreak, many of us suffered the same different types of sicknesses that affect our lives, our lifespan. And that some of us cannot breathe, some of us cannot eat because of the situation.
King Stephen Tobins is the paramount ruler of Bukuma.
I want the federal government, the state government, to contact the people, the NNPC who owns the oil, to take care of the people in Zion City and Bukuma and other satellite town in Bukuma, the 14 communities in Bukuma Island, in Agum, because there is no hospital here. The government has never provided any medical facilities in Bukuma. So the people will die soon. So immediate action should be taken.
The heat was so much that as if your skin wants to peel off. So the adverse medical effect is very obvious. The NNPC, do they not have conscience? See, we are talking about the life of human beings. Life comes first, then their livelihood, then the sustainability of the environment. It's sad that this thing is happening, and sometimes I just feel that some people feel that others are.
In the meantime, Nigeria's Minister of Information says that the federal government will embark on a sensitization campaign to help prevent similar tragedies like the Diko Junction tanker explosion. Now, this was as the minister visited the Emir of Suleja in Niger State, where he commiserated with the Emir over the loss of 96 persons from the explosion, which also left many injured. Our correspondent Idong Joseph tells us more.
The recent tanker explosion at Diko Junction in Gurara local government area of Niger State. This incident claimed 96 persons,
73 and counting,
with over 270 people killed in 5 different tanker explosions within the last 5 months. Questions are being raised about public safety and how these incidents can be prevented, as it has become one too many.
We saw this happen in September last year in between Iban and Ife on Ibadan Ife Road. Although no lives were lost there, properties and vehicles were engulfed in fire. We saw what has happened in Agaye, also in September of last year, where 48 people lost their lives as a result of this fuel tanker explosion. We also saw what has happened in Jigawa in October last year, where 144 people were confirmed also to have lost their lives. Here, it was reported that 80 people have lost their lives. Today, additional people have passed on. It's an unacceptable situation.
While the federal government has announced the establishment of a high-level committee to find a lasting solution to the recurring incidents, Nigeria's Minister of Information and National Orientation paid a visit to the Emir of Suleja following these tragic incidents, outlining plans for a nationwide sensitization exercise.
Mr. President is really very saddened by this and is determined to bring to an end this kind of occurrence. And as a result of that, he has directed the National Orientation Agency under my ministry to step up enlightenment campaign and education of people.
The minister also promised that government will support the families of the victims.
The last couple of months, we have lost over 265 people so far. And this is not an acceptable situation, and that is why the president has directed that immediate steps be taken to give support to those who are injured, to support their families, but to also do everything possible.
As the nation mourns yet another preventable tragedy, calls for accountability are growing louder, as many believe that meaningful change can help save lives of citizens in the future. In Abuja for News Central, I am Idong Joseph.
The Trade Union Congress of Nigeria has opposed the proposed increase in the value-added tax rate, as outlined in the federal government's tax reform bills, warning that the move could worsen the economic hardship faced by Nigerians. The federal government had proposed a phased VAT hike from the current 7.5% to 10%, 12.5%, and ultimately 15%, a move the TUC described as an ill-timed and detrimental to the welfare of citizens already grappling with inflation, unemployment, and a soaring cost of living. Speaking during a press briefing in Abuja on Tuesday following the union's National Executive Council meeting held on November 26, 2024, TUC President Festus Osifo said maintaining the VAT rate at 7.5% was crucial to safeguarding Nigerians from additional financial pressure. The Bureau of Public Procurement has expressed concerns over the allocation of a little over 1.5 billion naira for capital projects in its proposed 2025 budget. The Director General of the Bureau, during a budget defense session with lawmakers in the House of Representatives, says that the estimate falls short of its proposed 72 billion naira submitted during its budget planning process. The chairman of the Committee of Public Procurement, while responding to the concerns raised by the Bureau, blamed the situation on the current budget ceiling imposed by the federal government, but promised to look into the situation with members of the committee.
Capital in the sum of 63,596,742,500 naira only. The envelope that we received for capital, we received the sum of 1,000,000,000
570,174,051, leaving us a difference of 62.2 billion.
I have perused the needs assessment conducted by the BPP preparatory to the presentation of the extant budget, and I can see that the actual needs of the Bureau comes to about 72.7 billion.
And you're watching News Now on News Central Television. We go on a short break, but when we return, Anambra indigents call for use of advanced technology in tackling insecurity. Details shortly. And you're welcome back. And now to security matters. Residents of Awka, the capital of Anambra State, southeast Nigeria, are asking the state government to step up its efforts in tackling insecurity in the state. In the face of threats to their daily lives and businesses, they want a new security architecture to help stem the causes of insecurity across the state. News Central's Chinwe Ugeli has details.
From Onitsha, the business hub, to Awka, the capital of the state, the story of insecurity is the same. The people are not at peace in their own environment because of the threat of attack by men of the underworld. The people say whatever the government does, security of lives and property must be made a priority.
He's not doing anything concerning security. A lot of people are dying, a lot of kidnappers are killing people, selling their powers, asking for ransom and all kind of things. So I'm not happy about that security situation in Anambra State.
They therefore prefer advice on how to tackle the menace of insecurity.
You should also reach out to people for even more an advanced and broader tactics towards this. If you like, in the Ministry of Homeland, there should be a department in charge of native intelligence gathering, that will DSS.
The recent enactment of a new Anambra State vigilante law and the empowering of the security outfit to fight crimes in the state is only a testament to the level of insecurity in the state.
Anambra is not 100% good in terms of security. If you look at it, there's a lot of kidnapping. People are scared of going out in the night.
Commissioner for Information Dr. Law Mefo says with the new arrangement, insecurity will soon be a thing of the past in the state.
The criminal activities that come under the watch of Operation Odogachi will certainly be treated differently. I don't speak for the police, but the governor is determined that this must succeed. And between now and next 3 months, there must be very clear pathway showing that Anambra is returning to its former glory, the safest state in Nigeria.
Fighting insecurity in a 21st century community should go beyond the use of arms and ammunition. The people and experts believe that the government should deploy the use of technological means in fighting insecurity in a state that has challenges like Anambra. In Awka for News Central, I am Chinwe Ugeli.
The General Officer commanding 3 Armored Division, Major General Abdusalam Abubakar, has classified security challenges in Plateau State as unique and different from other theaters of operation. General Abubakar, who was speaking during a media chat to mark the completion of his tenure as both GOC and Commander Operation Safe Haven, maintains that measures need to be improved upon to ensure criminal activities in the state are abated. Correspondent Chizoba Nyowe was there for News Central and has the report.
Violence in Plateau State, spanning over 20 years, has ranged from cattle rustling and poisoning to underage grazing, farm destruction, and isolated attacks on communities. Against all odds, gradual resettlement of victims back to their ancestral homes, increased farming with bumper harvest as against records in the past 5 years, minimize attacks on villages are among success records that need to be sustained with novel ideas.
In line with this, we evolved effective broad-spectrum strategies involving both kinetic as well as non-kinetic lines of operation in order to be able to address the multidimensional security challenges, backed, of course, by technological innovations, which is being heavily supported by the Plateau State government, and this has really helped in improving our early warning mechanisms.
As sad as it may sound, the alarming rate of fake news, proliferation of arms and ammunition, including illegal manufacturing factories of these arms, remain major challenges. The GOC says sustained joint intelligence-based operations have yielded good results.
I'm glad to report that in 2024 alone, we recovered a total of 476 small and light weapons, about 13,530 rounds of different calibers of ammunition, and we also dismantled 23 illegal weapon manufacturing factories. Also, about 137 gun runners were arrested. I dare say that this record is the highest in all the 6 geopolitical zones of the Federation.
Despite this feat, the outgoing GOC, who doubles as commander of Operation Safe Haven, reaffirms that the Nigerian Army is not relenting in its desire for greater heights.
On the tactical side, the major challenge is the terrain, which is mountainous in some areas like you all know on the plateau, with ravines in other areas. And this restricts the movement of both troops as well as our equipment. And we have made efforts in this regard to overcome this challenge. A look at the statistics, for instance, for the year 2024, revealed that incidents of violence on the plateau reduced by an impressive 65% as compared to previous years. So we have done quite well.
The scope of 3 divisions command saw General Abdusalam Abubakar's footprints span Plateau, Bauchi, Gombe, Adamawa, and Taraba states. It also impacted 2 local government areas in Bauchi State and 5 others in southern Kaduna. In Jos, Plateau State, for News Central, I am Chizoba Anyuri.
The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has commissioned the 11-kilometer Yangoji-Sukuku-Ebo Road in the Kwali Area Council of Abuja. The minister, during the ceremony, assured residents of the area council that the federal government will continue to meet their expectations as promised in its renewed hope agenda. Amadine Uyi reports.
It was a carnival-like atmosphere for the residents of Yangoji, Sukuku and Ebo in the Kwali Area Council of Abuja. Residents of the communities had come out in their numbers. The reason? First, a renovated and remodeled community school, and then the new 11 kilometers Yangoji, Sukuku and Ebo Road.
This road will significantly improve the living conditions of the residents, who are predominantly agrarian, by facilitating smoother access to market and vital services. This road project is a game changer for the people of this region, aligning with the broader goal of inclusive development and sustainable growth.
Oga, when you resume office, the issue of kidnapping, bandits, all these people have run away because of the access of this road. We have sent them completely out of Kwali Area Council. We celebrated our Christmas without any hitches. It will link to Yogu and to Kuje Area Council. The same Kweta Road is going to link to Yogu and Kweta and Sabo.
The lack of proper roads could be a hinder to transport of our people for their products, students going to school, and other health emergencies. And this administration of Mr. President has totally changed this narrative.
The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory assured the residents that the federal government will meet their expectations.
Kwali people, are you happy? Are you happy with Mr. President? You are happy with Mr. President? Mr. President said, anything you want, you should ask me, we will do it for you.
He says that the newly constructed road is proof of government's commitment to the infrastructural development of the area.
You are the first community where we are doing road and push street lights. That is to tell you that the government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu is committed for the development of our people.
The Yangoji Sukuku Ebo Road is the second road project being commissioned in the last 2 days by the FCT administration. In Abuja for News Central, I am Amadine Uyi.
About 300 widows of deceased police officers of the Nigeria Police Force drawn from the northwest states of Kano, Katsina and Jigawa have received empowerment support from the Police Officers' Wives Association. The packages were presented by the wife of the Inspector General of Police, who also serves as the chairperson of the Police Officers' Wives Association. News Central's Emmanuel Bagudu reports. We will bring you that report in our Sources Camp Bulletin. In the meantime, the governor of Edo State, Monday Okpolo, has commended President Bola Tinubu's administration for its commitment to ensuring food security across Nigeria. Governor Okpolo made this disclosure at the launch of the State Food Outreach Scheme of the Renewed Hope Initiative of Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu in Benin City, Edo State. On her part, the First Lady, represented by the Vice President's wife, Hajia Nana Shatima, observed that the program is a social investment initiative aimed at providing welfare packages for vulnerable and underprivileged Nigerians. Earlier, Idisili Anani, Coordinator Office of the First Lady of Edo State, expressed gratitude to the First Lady for the Renewed Hope initiative.
Look at food all over. We are very, very delighted. There's anything beyond 100% we'll give our dear President.
I am pleased to share with you all the since inception in 2023. The Renewed Hope Initiative has made significant progress in our effort to support our people, particularly women and youth, towards building a better life for their families. Barely 4 weeks ago, the life of the elderly in our state benefited from her benevolence. Today, the vulnerable are benefiting from her motherly gesture as a mother to all in the launch of the food scheme program to the vulnerable. It is indeed a testament that no one is left behind and everyone.
International non-profit organization Oxfam Nigeria has called on governments at both national and international levels to implement policies that will tax the rich and help reduce rising levels of inequality around the world. The organization made this appeal during the launch of its report and the state of Nigeria's climate finance in the nation's capital, Abuja. Our correspondent Joshua Marai reports.
Oxfam's latest inequality report reveals that the wealth of world billionaires increased by $2 trillion in 2024, growing at a pace 3 times faster than the previous years. According to the non-governmental organization, this development is pushing the middle class to the brink of poverty, with 3.6 billion people now living below the $6.85 a day poverty line.
And the report intends to look at, to spotlight those pre-colonial and colonial legacies that has entrenched inequality in our space. And some of those are the lopsided resource mobilization in terms of extractive resources, from the global south to the global north, and how it has entrenched poverty and inequality within the global south.
Government needs to commit to ensuring that both globally and at a national level, the income of the top 10% are no higher than the bottom 40%. According to World Bank's data, reducing inequality could end poverty 3 times faster.
The organization also called for immediate reforms to boost Nigeria's climate finance strategy, emphasizing that international donors and domestic policies must align with equitable, transparent and impactful funding.
This report is really good because it clearly outlines what Nigeria has received since up to 2021. But the challenge I find in this is a lot of the investments that are coming in are debt financing, and not grants.
One particular area that is important to look at is the issue of budget tagging and budget tracking, so that once we release our budget annually, they will need to find out what component of it attends to climate impact, climate risks, and climate mitigation adaptation. Once we do this, it now provides an opportunity for governments at subnational level or national level to attract more funding and also direct resources to areas that require more attention.
Oxfam says that the report highlights the challenges associated with community collaboration in climate finance management, which includes access to data and clarity on the types of project needed and executed, as well as the source of financing. In Abuja for News Central, I am Joshua Imarayi.
And you're welcome back. As Kenya bolsters its police presence in Haiti with more officers, their ground patrols and aerial surveillance continues in an effort to restore order to the violence-ridden Caribbean island. Their work in dealing with criminal gangs controlling some 85% of the island is also being aided by locals who the Superintendent of Police, Edwin Carlin, says has given them information concerning the movements of each and every gang. Gang violence killed at least 5,601 people in Haiti last year, about 1,000 more than in 2023. Kenyan President William Ruto said last September that some 2,500 police officers would eventually be deployed to Haiti.
Receive a message very early in the morning that there is a group of gangs who has invaded Thomasin area. And we made efforts and joined hands with the PNH police, and we came with a team whereby we surely engage the gangs. There was many, and even if you see this hill up here, they had invaded up to this hill and beyond, but we managed to repulse them. Currently, the area is safe, and it is very peaceful, and the members of the public have now come back, and they are going on with their life. Members of the public in this country, they are very good. They interact with us each and every day, and they give us information concerning the movements of each and every gang around. And when we get the information, we act promptly to make sure that we push them out.
U.S. President Donald Trump on Monday seized control mere hours into his second inauguration, exercising sweeping presidential powers to dismantle significant portions of Joe Biden's achievements. Immigration was a key issue on the campaign trail and featured in his new legislation. For News Central, Afia Hagen has more.
President Donald Trump began his term by taking a series of sweeping immigration executive actions that included declaring a national emergency at the U.S. southern border, immediately ending use of a border app called CPB-1 that had allowed migrants to legally enter the United States, and kicking off the process to end birthright citizenship, which is expected to tee up a legal fight. Trump also made a striking personnel move as senior leadership at the Justice Department's agency overseeing the nation's immigration courts were removed from service on Monday evening. The Executive Office for Immigration Review oversees the U.S. immigration court system, where immigration judges decide if immigrants can remain in the U.S. or be deported. The removals, which targeted career public servants who together have served in the agency for several years, raised questions about whether they were permitted under rules dictated by the Office of Personnel Management. And they illustrated the Trump administration's push to install officials who are aligned with his policy vision. Executive actions are the culmination of multiple campaign pledges and the resurfacing of policy ideas that didn't come to fruition during Trump's first term. Trump aides have signaled that they will be followed within days by a series of immigration enforcement sweeps targeting criminals, though they haven't ruled out that others could be apprehended too. The shutdown of CPB-1 on Monday closed a key pathway for people looking to come into the US. Homeland Security Department officials have cited the app as helping drive down migrant crossings by providing an orderly way to apply to the United States. With that now gone and asylum restrictions in place, the border is effectively shut down to asylum seekers, an extraordinary move. For News Central, I'm Afia Hagen.
Russian President Vladimir Putin and Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping praised their deepening cooperation in a video call on Tuesday, hours after Donald Trump's inauguration as U.S. president. In the video conference footage released by the Russian presidency, the two leaders appear to be all smiles, once again praising the Russian-Chinese strategic partnership intended as a counterweight to their American rival. The Republican has promised to take a hard line on Washington's adversaries, threatening heavy tariffs on Beijing and warning Moscow of big trouble if it does not settle the Ukraine conflict.
Мы выстраиваем наши связи на основе дружбы, обоюдного доверия и поддержки, равноправия и взаимной выгоды. Эти связи самодостаточны, не зависят от внутриполитических факторов и текущей мировой конъюнктуры. С уверенностью можно сказать, что внешнеполитическая связь, совместная работа России и Китая объективно играет важную стабилизирующую роль в международных делах.
Китайско-российские отношения, стержнем которых являются вечное добрососедство и дружба, всеобъемлющее стратегическое взаимодействие, взаимовыгодное сотрудничество и обоюдный выигрыш, приобретают все новую жизненную силу.
The number of dead after a fire that engulfed a hotel at a ski resort in northwestern Turkey on Tuesday has risen to 66. Witnesses said desperate guests had tried to escape using ropes, and footages showed bed sheets hanging from the windows, and media reports suggest that some had died after trying to jump to safety. Several ministers have arrived at the scene at the Kalkaya resort around 170 kilometers northwest of the capital, Ankara, and officials said the fire had now been contained. Some 238 guests were registered as staying at the hotel. The minister added a peak time during a 2-week school holiday. The fire is believed to have started in the restaurant and spread quickly, though it was not immediately clear what caused it. Indonesian rescuers have recovered the bodies of at least 17 people who were swept away in flash floods or buried under tons of mud and rocks that hit hilly villages on the country's main island of Java, with 8 people missing. Torrential rains on Monday caused rivers to burst their banks, tearing through 9 villages in the central Java province as mud, rocks and trees tumbled down on mountainside hamlets. Officials say rescue workers had pulled out at least 17 bodies in the worst-hit village by Tuesday, with a search still underway for 8 villagers who are reportedly still missing. 11 injured people who managed to escape were rushed to nearby hospitals. And now to business, as Nigeria has overtaken Angola as Africa's leading nation in upstream capital expenditure for 2024, according to a Wood Mackenzie analysis. The surge in investment is driven by incremental deep-water oil development, in the Lower Congo Basin. President Bola Tinubu's special advisor on energy credits 5 historic presidential directives and fiscal incentives, issued this year alone for the boost. This transformative initiatives are solidifying Nigeria's role as a key energy player, reshaping its energy sector, and attracting unprecedented investments for 2025 and beyond, reaffirming the country's dominance in Africa's energy landscape. Inspector General of Police Kaide Gbetokun has issued a directive that the Nigerian police force will commence enforcement of compulsory motor third-party insurance for all motorists nationwide beginning February 1st of 2025. This announcement has met with opposition from some quarters, with some threatening legal action to challenge the police's authority to enforce the policy. Fumi Adebowale, who's the head of research at Parthian Partners, joined Business Edge earlier to speak on this. Take a look. Unfortunately, we can't bring you that visual. In the meantime, Kenya's Statistics Office has announced plans to publish core inflation data to assist monetary authorities in better assessing the economic impact of interest rate decisions. Unlike headline inflation, core inflation excludes volatile components such as food and fuel, offering a clearer measure for guiding monetary policy. The Kenya National Bureau of Statistics highlighted that core inflation is a widely used tool for central banks to ensure effective decision-making and public communication. Policymakers emphasized that excluding supply-driven factors like weather, which affect food and fuel prices, enhances their ability to achieve price stability and the economy. And back to Nigeria, as Lagos is set to host the inaugural World Boxing Council African Boxing Union Amateur Boxing Tournament. I know, long word. It's bringing together 52 boxers from Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, and Nigeria. And now the tournament will take place from February 6th to 8th, 2025 at the Molade Okoya Thomas Indoor Sports Hall of the Taslim Balogun Stadium. The knockout-style tournament will serve as a qualifier for the WBC Amateur Boxing World Cup in Mexico later this year. Winners in each weight category will be awarded medals, while the most valuable boxers in both male and female categories will claim prestigious WBC belts. Speaking today at a media parley, CEO and technical director of the organizers, Yakotriko Boxing Promotions, and that's Omonle Imadu and Babatunde Laguda, both emphasized the efforts, the event's potential to boost Nigerian boxing.
52 boxers will participate in WBC ABU tournament, and as of this given moment, as I speak, we've been able to confirm 22 boxers coming from outside the country, while we have 30 in Nigeria, but the number is expected to increase before weekend, before we close the registration. So, well, when we say an eligibility for them to participate in the World Cup, virtually, be it whether you are from Nigeria or you're from other countries, for as much as you excel, you happen to be in the finalists, that is an automatic qualification, right, for you to be invited into the World Cup.
This is a build-up. It has given an opportunity that you can develop, nurture the boxer from onset, from the amateur. I don't want to call this amateur. From an open boxing, from the start up to professional. Kateko has run a league for over 22 weeks now. From the boxers, from the league boxers, they've extracted, they've taken the champions from them that will now participate in the championship. They will participate in the championship.
And Sabalanke said she was all over the place as she survived the scare against Anastasia to reach the Australian Open semi-finals and continue their bid for a third straight Melbourne title. The world number one is attempting to become the first woman since Martina Hingis 26 years ago to complete a three-pat at the hard court Grand Slam. After racing through the first set, she's title hopes were left hanging by a thread as Anastasia swept up the second and broke early in the divider. But the Belarusian kept her cool to fight back and wrap up a 6-2, 2-6, 6-3 win. It's the first time that she has dropped a set at the Australian Open since the 2023 final, where she fought back to beat Elena and win her first major singles title. The top seed said she can't wait to face her friend Paula Badosa in the last four after the Spaniard stunned third seed Coco Gauff earlier today, Tuesday. And on to Nigerian football, as Nigerian midfielder Jide Fatokun has signed with Sudanese powerhouse El Merreikh. The 26-year-old leaves Remo Stars after agreeing to a 2-year contract. Fatokun recently helped Nigeria's Super Eagles B team qualify for the African Nations Championship. He's set to travel to Cairo to complete the move. Now, due to ongoing political unrest in Sudan, El Merreikh, along with domestic rivals Al Hilal, are currently playing their home games in Mauritania. Well, congratulations to him, and that's all we can take at this hour. But before we go, let's take another look at some of the major stories. President Tinubu, FCT Minister, Rivers State Governor, Ogoni leaders are in closed-door meeting over Niger Delta cleanup. The Trade Union Congress has rejected VAT hike in the proposed tax reform bill that cries economic hardship. And we also told you that Kenya's police contingent have continued efforts to restore order in the Caribbean country, Haiti. Remember, they can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422 or on Star Times channel 274. We're also on Avo TV, and you can stream us live on YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I'm Judith at TV. Bye for now.